So over the past couple of days or so, we've been covering Offkai, which of course is one of the biggest VTuber conventions there is. And well, we've been covering some of the more so not positive sides of things, including the whole fancy booth thing, which we've talked about. But of course, there's been a lot of positive things as well, including things like, the Wildcard Club. Of course, they announced a lot of things over at the Spotlight stage on Offkai Gen 5. And you can see, yeah, it's obviously a project of dokibird, IMS, Armely, and Rim Penrose, which is very exciting to see. And of course, it is great to see that Offkai, of course, did manage to get the chance to, present this, right? Because, of course, it provides it more legitimacy, and obviously a lot more people will probably end up going for big announcements like this, and maybe it will kickstart even more big announcements like this, premiering at kind of VTuber conventions specifically like this, because again, it doesn't really happen so much. It happens a lot with anime conventions and whatever. Of course, big anime studios announce their anime during anime conventions, but with VTuber stuff, you never really see that many announcements and things, which of course, it was cool to see the Wildcard Club obviously give more kind of information on what they will be and things at Offkai itself, right? But what exactly is going on with Offkai now? Well, essentially, some people are pretty mixed on a new announcement that they just put out recently, which was this one saying, "Get ready to blossom into a fantastical spring. Offkai Expo 2027 will be held in San Jose from April 16th to April 18th. So as you can see here, this is the kind of little teaser thing they did. I don't know if the music's copyright, so I'll just mute it. But you can see they got the Sakura stuff there, and then they say 2027, and yeah, April 16th to April 18th. So they essentially announced the fact that this will be happening earlier than expected, right? Because of course we are now in July. Next one's going to be in April, which means, yeah, it's going to be quite a few months earlier than a lot of people first thought, which has been pretty surprising. People say April, bro, spring, say maybe I'll go this time. And lots of people are very confused, right? Lots of people are confused on why they've chosen to do this and why the date keeps changing and whatever. Because of course, a lot of conventions, they tend to stick with around about the same date, if not around about the same week or so, that they usually do the convention, right? But it seems like they've been switching it out quite a bit with Offkai, which has confused some people, right? Because again, it just doesn't really make sense. Usually you want to have that date consolidated so that it's in everybody's minds as, oh, that day is Offkai day, right? Like, for example, if it was the 24th to the 26th, like it is right now, they'd be like, okay, that day is Offkai day. And people would remember that. But this time it doesn't, right? But it might be for some good reasons, as some people discuss it. Obviously, you got what's her name? Essie, that's it. Saying that's tomorrow. Obviously, the VTuber that got very popular over the World Cup. Literally said that's tomorrow, right? Which it pretty much feels like it is for a lot of VTubers out there. So again, it has been pretty interesting. Saying Offkai has always been around July, but so is every other anime theme con under the sun. I doubt they'd want to have it at a different time unless they had to. To be honest, I feel like this is just a scheduling issue where every other time was still booked up. Still, this sucks. So some people think it sucks, of course. They think it's an issue and that, potentially it could lead to less people going because it's quite a short turnaround, right? But of course, as well, it's not also just the people that are just attending the con or being a VTuber or whatever and attending the con. It's also people like the cosplayers, right? This Julie B here saying, by the way, when they announced it, I crashed out because it ruined my cos planning. I'm going to fly out my cosplay at least, right? So again, of course, some people, might have had plans to maybe work on something over the year and then attend next year's Offkai at, with a new cosplay or whatever like that. But sometimes that can also kind of get, foiled, or plans can kind of go wrong because of it happening so early, right? As I said, it's not a year. It's not going to be a year until Offkai. It's going to be much less than a year. Around about, I think it's like 9 months. I think it says that 9 months, which obviously is quite a short amount of time. So yeah, some people are a little bit, confused about that, right? Saying, oh, Offkai prep during finals next year, awesome. Saying, by the way, for no particular reason, peak spring migration season begins at the same time as Offkai Expo next year. and there are various birding hotspots around San Jose. I mean, that's pretty cool, I guess. And then obviously there's posts like this, for example, saying, does anyone else think this is too soon? Saying maybe this is a hot take, but I kind of disagree with the decision to host it so soon, especially compared to other years. Planning for a con takes a lot of time in advance, meaning that people from this year's Offkai probably don't have much time or money to start planning for next year. Saying not a hot take at all, you're good, chief. Saying, yeah, that's way too soon. That's like what I'm saying. So yeah, obviously a lot of people are complaining about it, saying like it's too soon, and well, I say complaining about it, concerned about it, saying that it's too soon, and that they're not going to be able to get the money or the time or whatever. They weren't really planning for it to be in April, right? Which could either negatively affect it or positively affect it. Obviously, some people brought up the fact of maybe it is just due to a booking thing, and that maybe they wouldn't have been able to do it at the same time anyways. But again, I feel like, you should probably try to get like the closest time possible at least, or at least try to get some kind of yearly thing going with the convention center to be like, okay, we'll book out this slot every single year on this date. Just make sure we always have that slot, right? Which I know a lot of people do to kind of get that kind of consistency. So I don't know. But of course, there might also be other reasons. For example, spring tends to be a lot more cooler. So maybe they were thinking about, we know what anime cons are like and VTuber cons are like. Some people could get a little bit sweaty and a little bit warm, especially if it's in the summer, right? Because we're in the peak of summer. It can get a little bit, as I said, hot and sweaty. So maybe they just kind of wanted to change of atmosphere too. Potentially in the spring, it could be a lot more cooler. So yeah, maybe that could change things too, I guess. Potentially that could be one of the reasons, right? Some people are creatures of habit, so I understand how the change is controversial. Perhaps turnout will actually increase because no other anime adjacent cons are happening at the same time. So some people were saying there is no kind of competition at the time as well. Again, I haven't really done a research on, how much kind of conventions and stuff like that happen during April, and if they have any competition and whatnot, and how much competition they have currently. But if there is less, as this person is saying, maybe there is a little bit of a difference that could be made there, right? Then Loki, why does the date keep changing? So some people are just confused as to why it keeps changing, saying, oh, this is literally 2 weeks before my Japan honeymoon I'm trying to raise funds for, maybe 2028, which of course, yeah, obviously that's just more so of a personal thing. But as you can tell, right, lots of people weren't expecting it to be at this time and had other plans ready, whether it's a honeymoon or whether it's anything else, right? People weren't expecting this. People were saying, oh, it's probably just going to be next July, right? Surely. But again, yeah, so people had already started planning their big trips for April or whatever. Maybe it's abroad, and now they're gonna have to miss out on Offkai next year because of that. So it is interesting, right? Saying this is gonna be the con that I really pushed my foot in the door. Offkai, I want to be there. I want to do an in-person meet and greet. I mean, that's great, right? So my guess for the scheduling problem might do with how popular San Jose Convention Center is to book. I mean, we had to share it with the CrossFit lot this year, so I have a proposition for them. They should migrate the con to the Midwest. So yeah, obviously it's a very, very popular convention center, so that could also be, again, one of the cases. I don't think it's going to go to the Midwest though. Saying, did they just GTA 6 Oshi uplink? Saying, I haven't even left my layover yet, bro. It's like, yeah, again, we haven't even really fully ended, right? And they'd already announced it. Saying, I need an East Coast con where people actually care about so bad. Places like San Jose are a 15 to 18 hour connecting flight for me. It's so rough, man. And again, I mean, it's not so great for some people that live on the East or whatever, but it's a lot better than, living abroad, right? Going from like the UK or somewhere. I mean, to be fair, I think like the two biggest conventions for VTubers right now is Offkai and V Expo, which is obviously a UK one as well. So we've got San Jose in the UK, which I think is pretty interesting, but it would be nice to see more VTuber conventions pop up. But as I said, they tend to not be as big, right? There probably are some out there, but again, they're not as big, and they're not as, organized and whatever as these two events are. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what kind of turnout there is at the next Offkai, but it is interesting to see that they're pulling it forwards quite a bit to the point where you don't even get a full year until Offkai. It seems like it's only going to be about 9 months until the next one. So it's going to feel like it's going to come across very, very quickly, right? But yeah, that's essentially all there is for this situation. If you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.